Hello, Caroline from Inspire to Change Hypnotherapy. Today, taking you on a journey into my brain to help explain what happens when we have a hypnotherapy session. Because if you've never had hypnotherapy, it's all a bit of a mystery, isn't it? And even if you have had hypnotherapy, it's still a bit of a mystery. Even our clients here at Inspire to Change, who are so used to us talking about the brain and how the brain works, all think that there's a little bit of magic involved in what we do, because the changes that they experience after a session are so significant and so profound, they just don't seem in proportion to what we've done in the session, which on the surface can seem a little bit like we've had a nice conversation and then a nice relax. So what I want to do today is be able to explain to you what really happens in the brain so that we can understand what that little bit of magic sparkle is. And to help me explain that today, I have with me Gary Johannes, founder of Inspire to Change Hypnotherapy and senior lecturer at one of the most prestigious hypnotherapy schools in the UK, Clifton Practice Hypnotherapy Training, where all Inspire to Change associates have trained at some point in some venue across the country. So, Gary, you have with you today a rather odd-looking piece of equipment. Can you tell us what this is?
Yeah, it's our latest torture piece of kit. Actually, it's an EEG brain scanner. So it gives us the ability to scan brain waves and what's going on in the brain in a real-time live action option, and we can do it right on our local computer on our laptop. So, you know, gone are the days where you'd have to spend millions of pounds on a hospital piece of kit. This is a high-grade, proper EEG scanner, which we're going to put in around your head in a little while.
Oh, you want this to go on my head?
Yes, we're going to
ruin my hair.
And ruin your hair. Look what it's done to me. So, you know, I had hair like yours a month ago.
Oh,
and this, you know, no, it's completely safe, and it's an amazing piece of kit. Primarily designed to read brainwaves of people's shopping habits and gaming habits. That's how sophisticated it is. It can actually, you can train your brain with this to recognise in gaming actual brainwave changes when you want to do things, so you can actually do things almost on virtual reality.
Yeah, wow.
So
okay,
it's
an
quite
amazing piece of equipment. Fantastic. So we're going to put this on my head and have a look at what happens whilst we have a hypnotherapy session.
We are.
Okay. Brilliant.
Just to see if you've got any activity kicking in.
Okay, right, okay, so we're going to see if I've got anything in there.
Yes.
Okay, right, so let's get this on then.
Okay.
Okay, so now you've made me look really stupid with this thing on my head.
You look luscious.
Oh, thank you.
It looks just good.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
yeah,
don't go out. Don't go out in it.
It's a new fashion thing. What are we actually seeing on the screen in front of us here, Gary? We can see.
So we can see four
that I've
brains.
got a brain. I've got 4 brains.
You got 4 brains. Actually, which each of them are doing. So the one at the top here is delta waves, which is what we relate to when you're in deep relaxation and sleep. So it's, deep sleep delta. You know, when you're sleeping, you'll be getting much more brain activity there.
So this blue is showing there's not that much activity going on.
That's right. So the darker it is, the less activity there is going there.
Okay.
And when you're awake and doing things like this, it should be fairly low.
Yeah.
In activity, because if you're asleep, so that's normal.
Okay, that's good.
The one below it, this is alpha. This is much more around visualization. So, and different parts of your brain. So you can see if you looked at the headpiece you've got on, there's lots of different modules, and each dot you see on here, and there's 14, 7 on each side. So you can see it's fairly balanced here, but there's much more activity over this side, which is the left side of the brain, which is more artistic and visualization.
Okay.
More, you know, on the right side of the brain.
Yeah.
But that's more about visualization. So when you're doing trance, particularly the way we work at Inspire to Change, we get you to visualize a lot of the things.
That's
like
walking
metaphors,
walking down the garden, and so this part of the brain would really kick in at that point. Okay.
When you see the big red flushes,
even just now when we were talking about, I was imagining the garden and walking down the stairs, and it got really.
When it goes completely red, that's your own brain. It runs on a very regular basis like that, a diagnostic. So it's continually every few seconds, your brain would be doing a big whoosh through, just checking everything's okay and coming back. So you do, you're just imagining that.
Sure.
Okay. Now we can turn it up so we can take a little bit of it out so we can get a clearer picture of
Yeah.
an individual thing. So
Okay.
what I'm doing is just turning down our sensitivity a little bit.
So this is really showing our ability to imagine and
Yeah.
visualize. So actually, if I was to imagine, one of my cats. If I was to imagine one of my cats right now at home. So yeah, we can start to see.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm really imagining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that comes up.
Absolutely.
Okay. Right.
And then we've got the theta waves here. This is theta.
Yeah.
And what theta is what we might call your thinking brain, where you're trying to solve problems and trying to achieve things. So it's like you're in the middle of making a video, so you're working out, is that video on, is that camera working,
Yeah.
so there's quite a lot of activity. What have I got to say next? How do I say the right things?
And of course, that's what we really want our clients to be doing in our
Yes.
hypnotherapy sessions, isn't it? It's
That's
looking
right.
at how to solve things,
Yes.
how to come up with solutions.
So we want that to be quite busy. Now down here we've got beta waves. Now beta is just our working brains, so it's activity,
Yeah.
what's going on. However, if we've got lots of anxiety and things like that, lots of worrying about things, that's becomes really busy.
So beta, when we're suffering from anxiety, beta becomes really busy.
Yes.
The busier beta is, does that mean that theta
Yeah,
can't work?
both theta and alpha become less and less able to come up with. So you're not able to come up with those solutions
Sure.
that you want to come up with. So you're looking at, when we use trance, what we want is it all to go fairly quiet, like it is a bit now.
Yeah.
Well done, good on time. And look at delta coming up. You're getting more relaxed. You're comfortable with the camera going. You've sat still for a little while, and you're just relaxing. And you can see delta is you're getting more and more relaxed. You can see how relaxed you are.
So when we're having those conversations at the beginning of our hypnotherapy session, so because when people come for a hypnotherapy session, we don't just put them on the couch and put them straight into trance, do we? We
No.
have that conversation with them. So talk me through what's going on in our brain when we're having those conversations.
You just demonstrated it lovely, because you went from just relaxing for a few moments to working out what you were going to say next and talking about it, and you can see here got really busy.
Yeah.
And that's you planning what you're going to do next and how it's going to work.
Yeah.
And then you visualize it quite heavily.
Yeah.
But you're not worried about it. So there's not loads of what if.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, our clients that's really important for when our clients come into our therapy rooms, that they're calm and relaxed.
Yes.
And actually, that's our job to make sure they feel
Yeah.
calm and relaxed and safe, so that we haven't got all that anxiety going in beta.
Yes.
So that between alpha and the visualizing things, and theta, thinking through them, thinks
Absolutely.
them, alpha visualizes them, and so what then happens when we put somebody into trance? What happens with all that information from that conversation?
The first thing that happens, because we go into alpha state is visualization, and when we sleep, we talk a lot about sleep and the importance of sleep. During your sleep, you get REM sleep, and REM sleep, there's loads and loads of alpha activity, which is you visualizing whatever has caused you anxiety, and then theta will be working away going, yeah, but this is what it really means, and that's where you sleep on it overnight and you don't feel so bad in the morning.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's put it into perspective.
So it's able to contextualise and
Yeah.
put into perspective and give us that more rational spin on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So in the morning we don't feel so bad about the night before.
Yeah.
That's generally what should
Yeah.
happen.
Okay.
If we've got loads of anxiety, we don't have enough capacity in our REM to empty it. So when we work with people from a hypnotherapy point of view, we want to get them to mimic REM as much as we can.
Yeah.
And that's where trance comes in, because when we get into trance, delta would light up heavily. When we're relaxed, beta will slow down.
Okay.
So that gives us activity, the ability to start getting good visualizations. During our session with a client, we will be talking to them about what their preferred future would look like,
Yeah.
and what it would feel like. So that imagination is there. So they've now understood how they'd like to be if they wasn't in the situation they were
Yeah.
in. So they've got a clear visual of that. When they relax and delta gets really busy and we relax, beta slows down.
Yeah.
That gives our visualization chance to really open up what that would look like in the future, and then theta can come up with a plan.
Right, okay. So we calm down beta to make sure we haven't got the anxiety taking over everything.
Yes.
We want delta to come up.
Yeah.
Because then what alpha is able to do is to visualize that preferred future that we're helping our client to work out. And then what theta does is takes that information and figures out how it's going to do it.
Yes.
So actually, when we're talking to our clients about what's been good about their week and highlighting some of the skills and resources they're using there, that's making sure that theta's got that at its fingertips. We were able to do that here, so that might help us over here.
Absolutely. A nice
Brilliant.
analogy. I'm into my sport quite heavily. So if you imagine if you've got a really good team, and they all play for each other, because this is a team event.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody's working.
I'm
They know.
imagining it.
They all know what's going on and know what their role is.
Yeah.
So there's no concern about when they walk onto that field. They're not anxious about the game. Now, if you've got a star player who doesn't like passing the ball, who all the time does whatever he wants, that's beta waves. So the rest of the team don't get a look in.
Yes.
And they get more and more frustrated, but they can't plan anything. They don't know what they're going to do next because they don't know what this wonder play is going to do.
Yeah.
So they can't actually create the next gameplay.
See, even when you were talking about that feeling of, oh my God, I won't know what to do because someone else has taken over. Beta, I mean, I know it's gone completely red now, but beta
Well,
really...
that's just doing a diagnostic because you put a lot in there.
Yeah, but even before that, beta really came up. Obviously, alpha was really visualising that.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's a really good analogy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like, so if you can get really relaxed, delta will slow the prima donna down. The other bits can get a chance to actually really look at, okay, how can we make a difference here?
Yeah. So actually what we're doing in hypnotherapy it's not magic, is it? It's actually helping the team to work better.
Yeah.
The team in here to take that prima donna, beta out of the way so that alpha, theta and delta can work together to come up with our solutions.
And beta's important. It's our working brain, but it's not working too hard. It's not overthinking.
Yeah.
And therefore coming up with lots of rubbish ideas, and the other, we don't know how to achieve that, so we're not going to be effective.
So we take away that overwhelm part of the overthinking, which allows the rest of the brain, the rest of the team in there to work at its best and help us find solutions, which of course means then we're not getting stuck.
Yeah, and we come back to our favourite term, is making a proper assessment of whatever is going on, because it's not getting overloaded with overthinking and busy thought processes. So that's how trance works. We reduce the activity in the brain, so we then have control. The client has control over the way they think. And by having we're solution focused, so by having an idea of how we'd like to be, we can then in trance help the parts of the brain will come up with solutions, where theta comes in to really power through coming up with solutions, and that's where the big change is made. That's why trance is so vital. We can sit and talk about things all day long, but if your brain is still going at 10 to the dozen, even though you know what you want, you can't create those changes because you're getting in your own way the whole time.
That's so important actually, because that really shows us the difference between hypnotherapy and some other kind of things, doesn't it? So if we're just having more traditional counselling where we're just sitting talking about things, we're not giving the brain the opportunity to come up with those solutions.
Yes.
Yet if we're doing activities like mindfulness, which obviously is really helpful for calming down beta, that's brilliant, it's calming down beta, but actually what we're not doing is feeding the almost like giving theta the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle to be able to work on. So that first part of our session,
game plan.
That first part of our session is saying, look, here are the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, and this is and here's the picture we want to make it look like.
Yes.
And then in trance, it gives the brain the chance to put it all together.
Yes.
Brilliant.
And that's also why we give all of our clients a download.
Yeah.
So every time they listen to the download, this is also having an effect. So they're continuing to give that extra opportunity, and then of course when we're in sleep, this has happened naturally, and the more relaxed we are when we're in sleep, the more chance we're going to come up with positive outcomes.
So actually what we do in that session is to start the process, give the brain the opportunity to start working on that problem, but that can then continues afterwards through sleep, through listening to the download. Brilliant. Which is why we see such amazing change when they come back to us the following week.
And it's so quick, you know, over, you know, the course of how many sessions we might see someone, we may see somebody 8 or 10 times, but in effect, the lifelong changes they've made from a lifelong challenge they've had, and these changes are permanent. This is watching the brain rewiring itself. Yeah,
that's really amazing, isn't it? Because we do talk to our clients about the fact that, you know, what we're helping them do is to take control of that rewiring process. If we don't take control of it, the brain just still rewires, but obviously without our guidance. So what we're able to do is to add in that guidance to make sure that the brain is rewiring in a way that is actually beneficial to us and helping us to achieve those goals that we're setting for ourselves. That's fantastic. Oh, it looked like my brain disappeared for a moment there.
Yeah, keep flashing on and on slightly.
Wow, so the good news here is I do have a brain. We can see that here, which is fantastic.
Yes.
And actually that's been really helpful to explain what actually is happening in a hypnotherapy session. It's not magic. We're just helping our brain to be able to do what it does naturally, but we're guiding it in the right way to be able to do that, which is why we see that phenomenal change so quickly and so fast, because we're just allowing the brain to do what it should be doing in that natural way, taking the prima donna out of the equation. I love that analogy. That's really good. Wow, okay. I hope that has given you a bit of an insight into hypnotherapy and my brain. I'm hoping most people's brains are fairly similar to mine. I think, do you know what? I think I might keep this on. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to see what happens to my brain when I find a pair of shoes that I really like. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you a little something that's made you think differently about hypnotherapy and what goes on inside your brain.